So today we've got a feature match for you. Coming from Senpai's Cards and Anime, we've got Michael K and David M. We're about to show you guys a live match here. I think they've already started without us. Yep. These guys started even though we told them we weren't ready yet. Nice, guys. We hadn't even started yet. Good job. Anyway, so Mahendra's trying to show off his new Grixis Reanimator. So we're calling this Mo's deck feature match. And Damon's playing his Ad Nauseam deck, which he was terrorizing people with during tournament, I believe. That's the same one. So, oh, they restarted for us. Look at that. Okay, here we go. We're restarting the game. Lol. Hey.
Well, cat's out of the bag now. We saw a Jace Vryn's Prodigy.
Yeah.
Which we already knew that Mo, and these names are actually reversed.
Whatever, just go
it's
play.
fine.
It's fine.
Go play.
Hey, Juan.
And then Beth, once we're done with this theory, we're gonna play Legacy.
Okay.
Okay. Please help me out.
I'm sure you can edit the
It doesn't
YouTube
matter.
video afterwards.
I don't care enough.
Okay. That is the most classic Mo move I've ever seen.
Just to start early.
Just to completely disregard.
Yes.
You guys are good. All right, we've got a Spire Bluff Canal and a Serum Visions to start us off. So Mo is gonna top bottom.
Oh, I have the
And
names
pass turn.
reversed. Well,
Yeah, the names are reversed. Mo is on the right. Okay. We have a Jace Vryn's Prodigy, and it looks like we have a Goryo's Vengeance in hand. So we could see a reanimated legendary creature next turn. Jace Vryn's Prodigy is going to pitch one of the legends, probably Grizzlebrand.
right.
And then there's going to be a Goryo's Vengeance. It could be on his turn, or it could be
What
at
a
the end
way.
step.
What a valuable card right now, being that Faithless Looting is banned, right?
Yes. So also the format slowed down because Faithless Looting was banned, which makes Jace Vryn's Prodigy just fast enough to really reward these mid-range type of decks that really care about their card quality
Interesting.
just as much as their card advantage.
I'd
and
be
Jace
interested.
Vryn's Prodigy, once it flips, is going to accrue some card
Value,
advantage.
yeah.
Absolutely. So it can rebuy some of those Goryo's Vengeance if one is not enough.
Oh.
He might be able to go off in one turn.
We haven't had any missed land drops from either of these guys.
Well,
and
that's good.
They're both about one turn away
We've got a
from
couple
going
of
off.
Scry lands in this deck. So in Ad Nauseam, we're looking to assemble the combination of cards, the namesake of the deck, Ad Nauseam, and Phyrexian Unlife, usually, but also Angel's Grace, to make it so that the player cannot lose the turn that he wins the game. So Damon, I believe is how that's pronounced.
Yeah.
So we're already pitching
Ooh,
a Grizzlebrand. That's the second one in the
Grizzlebrand.
graveyard. This could be really big. That's a Prismatic Vista. We're gonna crack that. Now there's 5 cards, I want to say, in
So
the
our
graveyard.
life
Could be 4.
totals here, let's ask. So I assume he's a 19, but we'll... Hey, let us know the life totals!
That's the first fetch I've seen.
Okay.
And Ad Nauseam doesn't even play many fetch lands at all. Ad Nauseam will play lands that you don't usually see played in Modern, like Gemstone Caverns, which you'll see sometimes in Dredge decks. You'll also see in... Sorry, I meant Gemstone Mine. Gemstone Caverns is a bit different, although you might see it in Ad Nauseam. I'm not sure of that.
Yeah.
But Gemstone Caverns is the one where you get 3 counters, charge counters, and then once the last one is used up, it goes to the graveyard. And you'll see that in Ad Nauseam because they usually only activate a land 3 times before they win the game.
Whoa, he's swinging in with Grizzlebrand.
Yeah, we've got an activation from the Goryo's Vengeance.
So that's going to be 9 damage on board?
It's 7 damage. So the JVP...
Oh, Grizzlebrand's a 5/5?
JVP is an O2.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it already activated. So this is
we've
going to
gone-
represent 7 damage and 7 life for Mo, and Mo's immediately going to pay that 7.
So it's 13-5 then.
So he just drew 7 cards.
So did he draw 7 again? So he... Yeah, he attacks and then draws
He attacks
7.
and then draws 7, so his life total doesn't change there. And he's very likely going to pay 7 at least once more this turn, unless he has all the goods off of that
Well, he's at
first
5
draw.
Life. So he paid... He did,
Oh, he already did. He
He already did it. Hence why his hand is...
Yeah, so he's just counting out the spells that don't matter, it looks like.
And he's relaying information to us.
He has 2 mana up, and he has as many as 4, although I expect, these are actually both players who would be playing Simian Spirit Guide.
Right,
in their,
which
in
is
their
really
deck.
interesting.
They're both combo decks. They're both looking to just race the other player.
How much mana do I really have? You'll never know.
You'll never know. So the Ad Nauseam deck, I think, typically plays exactly 3 Spirit Guide because it only needs them for Lightning Storm. But
now, Pact of Negation is 2 and then 2 of any color, right?
Well,
to pay the cost.
To pay the cost, it's 5.
Is it 5?
For Summoner's Pact, it's 4. It's 3 blue.
If Damon, theoretically, even with only 3 mana, could survive a Pact to save his own life.
So what's interesting is he can Pact any of Mo's spells, and then in response to the trigger at his upkeep, he can pay the 1 with Angel's Grace, and that would actually keep him alive. That's why these Ad Naus decks sometimes play mainboard Pact of Negation. It really depends on the meta. In the meta right now, I highly doubt that's the case because it's so mid-rangey, and they don't really need those Pact of Negation.
And Mo's drawn 21 cards.
Right. So if he's mainboarding Pacts in some number, he's going to win that counter war. It looks like as he was sifting through his deck, he may even have Force of Negation in the main.
Can that Angel's Grace be countered?
No, it has Split Second. Split Second is a really old ability. Well, I guess it's old now. It wasn't old to me. But it's from, I want to say, Planar Chaos. It's the Time Spiral block. So Split
there's
Second
no
you can't
using
respond
that to instantly win the game.
Right.
That's fine. Oh, and I think he just drew it.
He did. He
Nice.
just drew the Angel's Grace. Now, he is going to have to come up with enough mana to cast Ad Nauseam. Usually there's an early Lotus Bloom to help that out, but we have not seen that yet. It looks like that was a Scheming Symmetry.
Oh, and that is like...
Yeah.
Oh, he has it face down.
So
I was going to say the glare's pretty bad.
Both players are searching because he just cast Scheming Symmetry, which is a new card from, I want to say, Core 19. And this allows both players to basically Vampiric Tutor without the -2 life. So that means they're searching their library for a card and putting it on top, not directly into their hand. This is usually best for the active player because it only costs 1 mana. Right. He has access to it first because he plays cantrips like Serum Vision, Sleight of Hand. There's the Sleight of Hand. Okay, so he immediately put the card on top into his hand. And it's very possible that he's going to cast something like Silence on Mo's upkeep. So Mo, before he draws the card he put on top, will not be able to cast spells that turn. This is a possibility.
Well, he's already untapped.
Mo has the Gemstone Mine,
phase.
just as mentioned, but these are both Gemstone Mine decks. So you see a lot of similarities between the mana bases and also the reactive elements of the combo decks. And the ways that they generate mana is very similar, and it looks like an Emrakul. That looks like an Emrakul in Mo's hand. So
he said the total drawn off brand
he's
was
discarding the Emrakul, and in response to the trigger, so Emrakul usually shuffles the graveyard into the library. Now, in response to that triggered ability, he's Goryo's Vengeance. Goryo's Vengeance is an instant, so that allows him to, with the shuffle the graveyard into the library ability on the stack, get the Emrakul back into play, and it has haste from the Goryo's Vengeance. So if this connects, actually, even if it's just allowed to declare an attack, Damon's not going to have a board.
Nothing, no land.
It has Annihilator
anything.
6. So as soon as it attacks, that sack trigger goes on the stack.
It's pretty dope.
It's pretty great.
Oh, and
there it is. It looks like Damon allowed
Triggers
for
the
declarations of attacks. And there's the Angel's Grace. So that prevents him from losing this turn, but it doesn't prevent him from losing his permanence.
Right.
Which is huge.
Interesting. He's deciding to play it out even though he's in a lot of trouble.
Well, we are on stream, so that it's really nice to let us see what's going on. So he's going to be at 1 life. The Angel's Grace prevents him from going below 1 due to damage.
Just tuned in. How is RG Pro? Oh, yeah, we answered that earlier.
How is Red-Green Prowess? Is that what they were asking?
Yeah.
Red-Green Prowess was pretty dope when it was on screen. That doesn't mean it's great. I wouldn't go into buying it right now. However, I would say that Dreadhorde Arcanus is here to stay in the format, even if not in that deck. So if you wanted to pick them up, now's probably the time. I don't see them going anywhere. They're played in Legacy, which is usually a good sign for a card being good in Modern.
Right.
Delver of Secrets aside.
Now he does have that Gemstone Mine out.
There's a Through the Breach. Okay, so this is the benefit.
Oh my
and he's got another Angel's Grace. It's just gonna fog. So he just lost 1 land and an Angel's Grace out of that.
He fogged. Oh wow, interesting.
Well, Angel's Grace acted as a fog there. He was down 2 cards.
Okay.
And Mo also spent 2 cards for that combo. So it was really nothing off of David's strategy. This Through the Breach. He was just asking to read it looks like.
Oh, okay.
It has Splice onto Arcane, which is sometimes relevant in the Nourishing Shoal versions of this deck.
Right,
it actually discounts it by 1 mana. But in this deck, I don't think we're going to see any shenanigans with Splice onto Arcane. No.
Not like we did last week.
Definitely not.
With the Twiddle Storm
Storm deck's pretty sweet. We might see that on camera again. And I think this is the last counter on Gemstone Mine. I haven't been doing a good job of counting, but okay, Collective Brutality is going to end it. So he just chose the duress mode, and that was it.
Okay, well, that was quick.
Oh, no, not the duress mode. What am I saying? He just drained them. Yeah.
The one that does the damage.
Yes. So I've played against Collective Brutality out of non-red decks, and I will say it feels very bad to not predict that they can burn you out. You know, when you're fetching and shocking aggressively, sometimes you can say, really, okay, they're not playing red, they're not playing bolt, they can't kill me out of nowhere. They have to kill me on board.
Right.
And that's not true. Collective Brutality can drain for the win. It's one of the few cards that's good enough to see play in Modern that can kill with essentially damage directly from the hand that's not in red.
Choose ability cards have a place in Modern.
Absolutely. Modal spells are one of my favorites because they allow for you to have so many options in game. One of the things that's interesting about instants is that, especially modal instants, is they're more powerful when they're in your hand than when they're on the stack.
Oh, that's
because
a
of
really
the
good point.
options that they represent.
Right.
Are so many different possibilities. Once you've cast it, you've made a
can
decision,
play.
and
Right.
you likely can't use it again unless you have Snapcaster Mage.
And
of
even
course.
then, but when that makes a lot of sense. Once it's on the stack, that information's given.
And that's why Control, although it often in Standard is sort of derided as this thing that anyone can play, and you just have all the counter spells in the world, really you don't. Often in a Standard format, this is especially true of Modern, there aren't that many counter spells. They feel like there are a lot because the way that a good Control player will use them is that they will use them at the perfect moment.
Right.
So that they are so impactful, you really only lost to that counter spell.
Correct.
Is what it feels like.
I've even seen some decks, some mid-range decks, some of the most famous mid-range decks in history, and forgive me for not remembering player names, but where they would run one counter spell, and then they would leave mana up for the rest of the game, and you're just terrified to play anything.
So that's a very good point. Now this happens really commonly in sideboarding. It's the same kind of strategy where you'll see a Jund opponent, maybe against like a control deck that doesn't have many creatures. They'll keep in one of their 4 lightning bolt.
Oh no!
Just to keep them honest.
Yeah, that's so good.
And often a control opponent will say, okay, well I'm not playing creatures. My planeswalkers go to 4 loyalty immediately.
How to cut someone's mana pool in half, right? Just make them think you have a bolt they have to protect against.
That's right.
Wow, his hands are full. Look at this. He's playing as quick as he can. Both of these guys play pretty fast.
Which is really good because they're both playing decks that require a lot of searching for. It's just kind of the way of combo decks that you're always looking for the exact critical mass of spells, especially in a mirror.
Every day we're shuffling.
It's really who can assemble the perfect combination of cards fastest.
There he is.
And there it is. There's Jace Vryn's Prodigy. I love this card. It was an absolute powerhouse in Standard, and there's Phyrexian Unlife.
Wow.
This is a very strange card. Similar to Angel's Grace, it prevents Daemon from losing the game in a very specific way. It says you cannot lose the game due to your life total being below 1.
Right.
And instead of taking damage,
you take
damage in the form of poison.
After you've been put to 0.
That's correct. If
so
your
if
life
someone
total
does 40
is,
damage to you,
if your life total is 0 or below, you will start taking poison. But
Right.
here's the interesting thing: it only does that for damage. If you lose life, you can go to negative whatever you want, which is why the Ad Nauseam deck is allowed to use Ad Nauseam with Phyrexian Unlife in that way.
Wow.
Because it will reveal its entire
otherwise
deck.
you'd poison yourself.
You'd poison yourself. That's exactly right.
That's really incredible.
Yeah, so you'll go to like negative 47.
I was expecting. I didn't say anything earlier, but I was expecting Daemon to actually side in removal, because allowing this Jace Vryn's Prodigy to be on the field is really setting up such an incredible play. Looks like Mo already has an exiled. I don't even know how that happened. Exiled Emrakul. I don't even know what happened there, but really he gets to ditch anything he wants now. So I think removing that would be an incredibly valuable play. But who runs removal in Ad Nauseam, I guess? Oh, there it is.
Okay, so Grizzlebrand hit
Exactly
the graveyard.
what I was
and what's
talking
so
about.
good about Jace Vryn's Prodigy is probably never better than it is in a deck like this, because when you are drawing the card off of Jace Vryn's Prodigy and putting something like Grizzlebrand into the
order
graveyard,
of operations are really
you aren't
important
drawing and discarding. Grizzlebrand is better in the graveyard than it is in the hand in this deck.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
it's like you've just drawn a card for free, and you put it exactly where you want.
Wow.
This is a great setup.
Yeah, you can't allow
It looks like he
but-
has Force of Negation in his hand. I don't want to say that too loud because the players might be able to hear us. That's a Charta Course. This is a post-faithless looting world
Ooh, I see.
that we're living in.
I see.
Oh, there's the vengeance as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got it. He just needs the mana. That's a basic mountain, so it's not going to happen this turn unless he had Simian Spirit Guide Manamorphose, which I don't think this deck plays.
Letting Ad Nauseam on tap is always scary, though.
Yes, and there's a Lotus Bloom that...
There it is.
There it is. There's Silence.
Silence. We were talking about that.
Yeah, that's right. So he's preventing Mo from interacting this turn in any meaningful way.
What is that?
It looks like a Gorya's Vengeance in response to the Silence. So he's already cast the spell that matters.
Okay.
So this is in the upkeep that this is happening.
Well,
It looks like there might be some miscommunication about what's going on, but there it is.
What happened?
Damon has just given up.
oh, okay.
Because he realized in response to the Silence, which unfortunately does not have split second.
Right, you can basically draw until you have a counter spell, counter it.
So it was right for him to do it in the upkeep before Mo drew. He didn't have to worry about a Force of Negation coming from Mo, even if he didn't know that Mo had it. He didn't have to worry about that because it wasn't his turn.
Come talk about your deck. All right, so we're going to interview these guys real quick. That was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Gorya's Vengeance being an instant is pretty brutal. It doesn't seem like it should be.
I honestly feel like the only way to slow that deck down would have been to maybe side in some bolts and multi. You got one. Jace Vince Prodigy hits the field, pop that thing, try to see if you can force an answer out of Mo. If Jace Vince Prodigy stays on the field, he pretty much wins.
This is definitely a rough matchup for Adnaz, just because it looks like the Reanimator deck is much faster. And I don't think interacting with Jace is a meaningful thing to do.
Which is insane that you say it's faster, because Faithless Looting is gone. Like, it shouldn't be faster.
Yes. So there are a lot of 2-mana options that are really powerful. We didn't see it, but the possibility of Simian Spirit Guide also could accelerate your Collective Brutality or your Charter Course into being a turn 1 play.
Dude, who knew Jace's Vin Prodigy was the fastest gun in the West? Who needs Faithless Looting, bro? Like, what the heck?
Him and Emrakul are best friends. You know?
Yeah. Who would have thought?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, they
I
became
looked
best
away
friends.
for a second, and I look up, and this guy has like no permanents left. I was like, dude, I thought we're playing. You know, he's like 7 turns
I'm
behind.
just like,
Well,
mad, dude.
flavorfully, that makes sense that Jace is friends with Emrakul because Jace is obsessed, like Sherlock, with having a case to solve, right?
Oh, yeah,
And they
yeah.
met sort of in a way on Innistrad.
Oh,
That
this
was
is
like
true.
the whole mystery behind that set.
Was this a theme decision?
Yeah.
No, sure it
Based
was.
on-
There's a flavor win. Grizzlebrand's from Innistrad too. This is a flavor
Did
win.
you side in any removal for Jace's Vince Prodigy, or did you feel like he'd have an answer anyway? It's a
I don't think
waste.
you saw him on the
I
first
did it.
game,
I
right?
took out Scheming
Yeah, game
Symmetry.
1 you did it.
Took out
Huh?
Scheming
I
Symmetry.
took out Scheming Symmetry because that opens up me to do whatever I want, but it opens up with him to win the game instantly.
That makes sense, yeah.
And
We
then
were-
I brought in 2 Silence, so I'm playing 4 main deck Silence,
Yeah.
so he can't cast anything.
That makes sense.
I can cast instants,
Yeah.
which you saw.
You
The-
did have
the-
a counter
the thing-
spell in hand, too.
Oh, yeah, I drew that one, yeah, off of the Seven Visions. I got that, and I got the Emrakul, these top decks. So we were actually talking about it. He had a turn 4 win right there, so he needed one more turn. And then I drew
Oh,
the card,
wow.
and then I
I
did
turned one way,
Jace's
man.
ability, and of course, it was Emrakul, so
It's just what
worked
you
out pretty
needed.
there. Yep.
Emrakul
Awesome.
came in clutch.
Well,
you
that
made
was a
deck
lot of
2
fun.
Emrakuls?
Yeah, two
Yeah.
Emrakuls.
Any other stuff? That was a good feature,
No,
man.
this is the new deck. This is for fun. This is going to be really good feature matches for this. I think Emrakul is pretty cool for that, and Grizzlebrand's pretty cool for
Well,
that.
we will be
Strengthening
planning
the whole
to
deck.
do some feature matches
We're
for
gonna play
some
some
legacy stuff and stuff. Probably not this one, but maybe
Oh no,
in a little
Legacy.
while.
If you want to do Legacy, that was like this week or like last week.
Yeah.
There's not gonna be too much Legacy. Legacy, the GP is on Saturday.
Well, we might
So-
do the legacy deck in a little while. Right now, we're going to prepare for draft,
Okay.
but we might do the legacy match here in a little while. See what's up.
Sweet. Thanks so much,
But
guys.
yeah, thank you guys. That was,
was
a
fun
lot
to
of
watch.
fun. Yeah.
All right. Cat
All right.
Party 88. See
You
you
guys
later.
play too quickly to talk about.